I'm going to give a couple of thoughts. I think the first one I'll give applies to both debt and equity. So I think this would be by the volatility, essentially. So when you're investing in CLO tranches, they obviously yield more than comparatively rated corporate credit, but they're also more volatile. And so when the market is dislocated, generally it pays off to rotate down the capital structure. So effectively try to buy volatility. CLO debt tranches have quite long credit spread duration. So effectively, if you buy into the dip, you can achieve significant returns by effectively getting a significant pull to par. So, in 2022, for example, double Bs went from trading around 97 cash price at the beginning of the year to being trading in the kind of high 70s in Europe, low 80s in the US by October. So that's a pretty major price move. And being able to buy those tranches in secondary and buy the dislocation added a lot more value than being able to buy in the primary market only. Because if you're buying it only in the primary market, you're really only going to get 4 or 5 points of price discount probably. And then when the market normalizes, that primary deal will just get called out within a year or two and get paid back at par, whereas this tranche you bought in secondary can trade up 20 points. And so I'd say that's the biggest lesson in terms of maximizing returns for investors. But the other thing I would say is, and I think this is one of the earlier questions, I think the manager and the portfolio composition is really important. I think what we've seen over the past couple of years is we've started to see more losses come through the pools as a result of, we were in a very benign credit environment for a significant amount of time post GFC. And I think that manager positioning in terms of diversification within the portfolios of each CLO and the performance of different managers has been really, really very divergent and has led to some pretty different return experiences for CLO equity investors. And so I think one thing we're very focused on is the diversity of the underlying pools, because we've seen some managers have relatively large exposure to certain names, which have then gone through restructurings and taken some fairly significant losses through the pool. If you're investing in CLO equity, you're exposed to the bottom 10% of the portfolio, really. And if you've got a manager taking 2% positions, that's actually a significant driver of your return.